Right, first things first, I've again swapped out some of their little pegs. So they come with these, which are all right, but I've just got some bigger ones mainly for the four corners, and I've got some even better ones for the guy lines. Right, this is the footprint, and what I've done is put some lengths of cord on the corners, and they kind of dictate where the thing's going to end up. So yeah, the Lanshan's basically got four main corners, and everything attaches to that. So if you put that out the way I've done it, that's about where you're going to want the peg, so you can see exactly where you're going to lie. So if you want to move it now rather than once you've got it up, because they're a bit of a pigs. Obviously the long side is where you're sleeping, so your doors are these ends. So if I was actually staying here, I'd probably turn that 90 degrees and have my doors over there, but I'm only putting it up to show you. So the idea of doing that first is now I can just hook them over there for a minute, and my corners should be about where I want them. These are called Titan ground anchors, and they're quite new. Little chap on eBay selling them, and the idea of those is instead of sort of a peg, that goes in the ground, and if it's pulled, it wants to pull the peg in. And the main points on a Lanshan are these two guys, so if they go, it's coming down. So up inside this reinforced bit here, and there is actually, if you feel around, there's a little loop, webbing loop, and if you can get the handle in there, it'll actually hold the handle where it wants to be. And then jab that in, and there's a little loop of thread that comes on these, and the idea is that you put your knot through there. Where's it gone? So you go through our guy-in point, and then back and hook it on there, and then we'll bring that out to where we want it, which is, we'll slacken that off actually, bring it out here a bit. So that's going to be about right for me door, isn't it? And then you can stick them in with your boot. And that ain't coming out of there. Right, and the other little thing, the Lanshan comes with these little plastic sort of ram's head, they call them. I think they're a bit of a weak spot. In fact, I think Rich had a bit of an incident with his. So these are the ones that Z-Packs make, and you can buy them. They're about $3. You just got to import them from America, so you have to wait for them. And the idea is that they hook on these little loops here, one for each door. I'll tell you about the little bungees in a minute. Cack-handed Jackson. And then you can pull on that, tighten that up. That's one end, and through the little loop, hook it back, and that's me point. I'll pull it out. That little metal hook is a lot stronger than the one that comes with a Lanshan. So. Right, so once it's up, probably find some of these corners aren't in the right place, because you kind of want an extension of that seam really. So I'll probably move them back around. particularly where there's no rock. And then, if you remember, underneath you've got your little ground sheet bathtub extenders. I kind of thought this being high up and also quite a long length there without any pegging points is obviously where the wind's going to get in. So I've sewed onto there. This tape, this grey tape, is like a bit of sealing tape for jackets, and there's a little webbing loop underneath as well, and I just ran a bit of stitching, don't look too closely at that, just to sew them on. And then I thought I could peg just to give it an extra bit of strength. And I've done both ends of the doors in between, and another one underneath these pull-outs, on the basis that if the wind ever did get up, it's just got a bit of extra help. So if it was horrible weather and you were worried, I think you can drop the poles down, so you can lower this whole thing down to the ground a bit more. And then I've tied these little bits of bungee to here, so I think you could actually peg the door down. I won't do it now, but it's an option, isn't it? So if you lowered the whole tent down, drop the poles down, and then you could peg that down, or you could even put a peg through all of that, couldn't you? Just to close the air gap up a bit. The only thing with the Lanshans, if you don't have any airflow, you will get condensation, but that's kind of most tents really. So another little modification is for the tie back of the doors, these little toggles are good, but if you put them on the elastic loop and then just tighten that up, it just holds it a bit easier to do. In there, Dave, I've got another little hammock set up in the top of the Lanshan.
It's a good little washing line as well. Storage pockets.
So there you go. We've got extra pegging points, tightened ground anchors, changed the little hooks for the doors, and a little washing line in there. But I reckon the Lanshan 2 is brilliant, and that just gives you a little bit more peace of mind that you know that it's hopefully going to stay up. But as a lightweight tent for carrying, what are they, 1100 grams?
Yeah.
Might be another 50 grams with everything I've added to it. But the room in there for a shelter, absolutely brilliant too. 120 quid, 130 quid at the worst. And the pro is that, isn't it? But without the inner, it's all one. So they basically, you've got this door end attached straight to the outer sheet, makes it lighter still. They've only just come out, so I don't know what they're like. Nobody's had a chance to play with them, have they? But there you go, that's the Lanshan. So I hope you've got a few tips in there. These are all little jobs you can do with bits lying around that you've probably got in your camping boxes, and makes a little difference.